Today we continue our series called I Am. During the time when Jesus walked this earth, many people might have questioned Jesus or even had thoughts about him. They could have asked the question, who is Jesus? Who does he think he is? Or how did he do that? You see, Jesus claimed to be God's son. He performed miracles. He spoke with authority. He served and loved everyone. He was perfect. I mean, seriously, wouldn't you have questions? Anyways, Jesus would explain who he was in ways for people to understand. He would use different I am statements to describe his character. To us, these statements may sound a little odd, but they have a deeper meaning. So today, let's talk about when Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life.
Hey, Renee.
Hi,
Did you get
Cal.
my text about borrowing that thing that helps me navigate from one place to the other? It's your GPS?
Yep, it's right here. By the way, where are you off to?
Not sure yet. Maybe Disney World or the Great Smoky Mountains, the White House would be super cool, or maybe even the Himalayas.
Wow, wait, you said the Himalayas? You can drive to all those locations, but driving there might be a little difficult.
Oh, yeah. There's a big chunk of water in the way. I might get a message from the GPS lady saying something like, relocating, or please take a U-turn, or possible death in your near future.
Yeah, using a GPS can be helpful when trying to drive to a location. You might need to figure out another way, maybe a flight or a boat. Oh, and I wouldn't suggest swimming there.
Yeah, that's definitely not happening, thanks to Shark Week. Anyways, I've always wanted to climb Mount Everest in the Himalayas, so I'll just take a flight, and if the mountain looks too big, I'll just catch a flight right to the top.
Wow, Kelsey, that's awesome you like to travel, but you do know that there is only one way to the top. You can't fly to the top of Mount Everest.
Well, that's fine. I'll just take an ATV then.
That won't work either. The only way to the top is climbing. There are many ways to do different things, but some ways require one way and one way only, like climbing Mount Everest. Kind of reminds me of what we're talking about today.
I'm guessing that Jesus has something to say about this. I mean, since we've been talking about Jesus.
Yeah, he does. He mentions that he is the only way to God. Listen to this. On the last night before his death, Jesus was preparing his disciples for the days ahead. For over 3 years, his disciples had been following Jesus and learning from his teaching and examples. They had placed their hope in him, but still had questions. In John 13:33, Jesus said, My children, I will be with you only a little longer. You will look for me, and just as I told the Jews, so I tell you now, where I am going, you cannot come. This prompted Peter to ask where he was going. Peter and the others did not understand Jesus' response was, where I am going, you cannot follow now, but you will follow later. Peter was still misunderstanding and said he would follow Jesus anywhere and even lay down his life for him. As Jesus patiently continued to teach his disciples, he began speaking more plainly about heaven, describing the place he was going to prepare for them. Then Jesus said, You know the way to the place where I'm going. Speaking for the others, Thomas said, Lord, we do not know where you are going, so how can we know the way? Jesus then gives an I am statement from John 14:6. I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
Wow, I bet the disciples really did have a lot of questions leading up to his death and resurrection. But Jesus did what he said that he would do, and he made a way.
Yeah, and he died on the cross and was buried, and 3 days later he rose from the grave. He came back to life. He then spent some time on earth with his disciples, then went to be with God. So Jesus was helping them to see that he had to go through pain and death to make a way for us to be with God.
Yeah, we know that we can be forgiven and made right with God when we choose to follow Jesus and know him as Lord.
Yep, that's another reason why God is so good, that he made a way. In life, there are many ways to help guide us to our destination. It could take using a GPS, a flight, or a boat, or a climb.
Okay, we get it. There are many ways to get us to our destination, but the only way to God is through knowing Jesus as Lord. It's believing in him and his power in our lives.
You know what? I'm sure glad he doesn't make us jump through any hoops or prove anything or earn it in any way. That he made a way because he loves us. He wants us to be with him.
That's great news. Well, I might hold off climbing Everest. That's way too much effort. Come to think about it, there's a ride at Disney World called Expedition Everest. I think that's a little more my speed. All right, well, looks like I'm off to Florida then. Thanks for the GPS. See you guys.
Have fun. Let's remember today that God made a way for us to be with him, and that is through his one and only Son, Jesus. There is no other way. So you might ask, who is Jesus? And he would respond with, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.